Look at that. I don't know what happened there, Tom. But
right on cue.
Technical difficulties. We'll just roll with it. Nobody saw it anyway. Nobody's watching yet, right? Usually I think they filter in after they get that live notification. For you folks listening back on the podcast, what are we talking about? Well, we do this right here live every Thursday night, precisely 7:30 on the dot, right? Stay tuned to AllEliteWrapup.com. Subscribe to AllEliteWrapup.com completely free, and you'll get the updates in your inbox of when we're going live and exactly what times. But Tom, man, a lot to discuss. We have AEW Dynamite happened last night, and we are going to talk about that. We have been for several weeks applauding and happy cheering our local Kansas City Chiefs, and we get to do that still. They won the Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowls. We were elated. We are elated. It was one of the funnest things we've ever encountered, quite frankly. Fast forward a few days. Yesterday, I actually did not go because it had some sudden last-minute family things that took us requiring to just kind of run some errands that day. There was a Super Bowl parade that Tom did go to. And if anybody watches the news, surprise, we live in America. So there was a fucking mass shooting at the thing. And that really soured things. So it feels weird to come out here and be like, yay, Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Although, yay, Chiefs won the Super Bowl. But fuck guns.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
can we say fuck this
right.
country
I mean,
sometimes? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I believe as far as separating the two, because it wasn't as if, someone on stage said something that upset someone.
Right. It wasn't one caused the other. Right.
Right. Yeah. They were two separate incidents. So, yeah, I'm going to celebrate. Look, I got my Super Bowl 58 Las Vegas t-shirt on. By the way, I'm drinking from my Super Bowl 54 coffee mug. Got some good old tea going on here. Oh, and what's that right there? Oh, that's a newspaper from Super Bowl 57. So I'm all in to the Chiefs.
Wait, that was last year's Super Bowl.
That was last year's. This was
So wait, they won last year's Super Bowl too? Oh, man. How often does that happen?
Well, here's the thing that's crazy. And he's 2/3 of the way there. I am not in the prediction business. I don't even necessarily like the prediction business because it's like, it's not that you're, whatever. However, one thing that was funny at the time, but could actually happen is before last season. So before Super Bowl 57, good old Nick Wright of Fox Sports 1, Kansas City's own, predicted a three-peat. He goes, oh yeah, we're going to win 3 in a row. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. And he goes, yeah, we're going to win 3 in a row. And then he said before last year's Super Bowl, he's like, this is the year to get us. We have all the rookies. If you don't get us now, we're getting a three-peat. We won. And then he goes, hey, wide receivers didn't advance. This is the year to get us. If you don't get us, we're going to three-peat. Boom. And then what does he say now? Well, now we're going to sign T. Higgins or, Tyler Boyd or whoever these other people are. Pay Chris Jones or pay Snead, and then we're going to be way better. Like, you guys are fucked. So
it'd be so fun. I don't think he's the receiver, not necessarily the receiver I want, but having T. Higgins to like shit on the Bengals with would be fun.
Or Tyler Boyd. Yeah, either one. Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins would be fun. DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans. Yeah, but anyhow, that's the football portion. So yeah, I am very much celebrating. Yay, Chiefs, all about it.
Yeah.
I still have Emily. So, and Jeffrey Sills is in the chat, and if anyone else joins, I'm wearing like a friendship bracelet. Is that a Taylor Swift thing? I think it's a Taylor Swift
thing.
That
is a Swiftie thing, yeah.
Okay.
You're a bona fide Swiftie.
Well, but my wife made it for me before the Super Bowl, and it says, in Spags we trust.
Yes.
So I got it in Spags we trust.
Long-term extension signed, by the way, Spags.
Yeah. Another great piece of news.
Nobody's stealing a head coach from us. Yeah, love it, man. Love it. So Jeffrey Sills says, by the way, no y'all was going to win. And of course, I mean, there was never a doubt. Ask Nick Wright.
But brother, there was some doubts.
There was some doubt. Yeah, there was a lot of doubt. Boy, up until that throw. And now, There was there was doubts up until when I saw Mahomes let go of the ball and I saw it was on target to Hardman. I literally leapt out and I ran. I didn't see the catch until I like came back in and saw that they were celebrating. I was like, okay, good. But I was like, I already knew it was over. That's when the doubt ended. I was like, oh, it's fucking done. We finally did it. That game was a nail biter.
I sent you. Yeah, I think I sent you the message. But when I became uber confident is when Travis Kelce in the fourth quarter had that crossing pattern that took us to the 10.
Yeah.
And he, went the fastest he's ever went in 7 years or whatever. I was like, oh, we've won, because I knew we were going to get the field goal. And I knew the defense, Chris Jones specifically, could get one stop and then we would have the ball.
Yep.
Fun fact, kind of like the 49ers, I didn't know how the overtime rules worked. And so I just thought like the defense was going to stop them,
Yeah.
But
no, I loved it. It was a blast, man. I was really just losing my mind the whole game, right? Like, I mean, it was such a back and forth in a defensive way, right? Like it was intense, but yeah, at some point, you give him the ball with a chance to never give it back to you, and that was your mistake. You know what I mean? Like that's what happened.
Yeah. Yes. So that's the fun part of since our last episode. And so to pivot just a little bit, as you mentioned, and as Jeffrey Sill says, a bit of a somber day after the shooting. Yeah. And
oh yeah,
like here's what I'll say. This is just what I'll say. We all know the answers on how to fix this. There are certain individuals that have a lot of power that do not want change to happen. And so that's it, right? Like there's not this isn't a mystery solved for X type of issue. We all know what the answer is. And all of these, false arguments of, well, bad guys will still get it. Yeah, bad guys will still do whatever they like. That's not the people we're trying to stop when we make restrictions.
Yeah. We're trying to still attempt to limit the product in ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You try to limit the people. Because the other thing about handguns that I don't want to necessarily go down the route of is, the majority of the time it's used is not in mass shootings. It's in taking your own life. So that's another reason why. Yeah. So that's another reason why you would want to limit that capability.
Yeah. I'll throw another one at you for the people who think they need it for self-defense. I went ahead and looked this one up on my own on the Bureau of Crime Statistics, and you are 4 times more likely if you are being assaulted by somebody to wind up injured or dead if you had a weapon on you. You are 4 times more likely because you know what? They see you fumbling for it and you look like a jackass. So guys, like, come on. So here's the thing I'll say to people, right? We all know the answer, like Tom said. We've been shown the answer, and what gets in the way is a lot of fucking inflated hyperbole, right? And so do with that what you will. Vote, canvas, call, whatever you think your thing is, right? Or to your own folks, right? Clean your own house, whatever that is, right? But I need to stress to people that those of you, I'm not even a get rid of all guns guy, right? Like I live out here in a fucking rural area. I understand people got to shoot coyotes and shit, right? Like I'm not selling people that, right? But like I'm telling you, people with guns, this is a fucking you problem. You know who didn't shoot up 24 people at the parade yesterday was somebody without fucking guns. So like you guys got to fucking do something about it, or somebody's gonna say nobody can fucking have them at some point. So fucking do something about it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not out here killing anybody with my fucking gun because it's not fucking here, right? So like fucking do something about it. You fucking scared. Anyway.
Yeah.
Like I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Like somebody's got like fucking handle your own shit. I keep hearing about responsible gun owners, but what are you doing about the fucking irresponsible ones? Because those are you people, right? Like you gun owners.
Yeah, and I think what they'll at least do is like, well, I don't know these people, they're the bad ones, It's just, you saw what Nick Wright said, and you sent it to me. I watched the episode today, and he pointed out 2 really easy things to do. One, the ban the assault rifle needs to go back into
Hmm.
legislation. And then again, in this own state, Tim, you live in Kansas, I live in Missouri. But as he
Hmm.
mentioned, we are arguing on the Missouri Supreme Court that our cops shouldn't follow federal
Yeah.
gun laws.
Forcing our cops, whether they want to or not, because the cops are all individual local entities, right? But the state's
No, well,
saying
they're
they're going to
not.
mandate that you don't fucking.
Kansas
Yeah.
City is mandate. Kansas City is ran by the state. That's the other thing. Kansas
Yeah.
City is not
Yeah.
like its own.
Well, yeah,
Anyhow,
not each one, but like, I mean, all
right?
the, you know what I mean? Like the
Yes,
various
yeah,
police departments are always like ran by various things, but the state's trying to come down and say, you guys cannot do what the federal government is telling you to do. It's crazy.
yeah. And so, you know, doing that, and then here's where, again, I don't want to go too far into this, but
Yeah, I know.
the
We can wrap
thought,
it up after
right?
this
But
too. It
the
is a
thought that I
somber
always
bullshit.
had, yeah, but the thought I always had is, you know, gun manufacturers have blanket immunity, right? They can't get rid of it. Watch how quick they police themselves when they don't have that luxury of, well, it's not my problem. Watch how many people have background checks. Watch how many barcodes
Yeah.
don't get
Oh, oh
scratched
yeah.
off and things of that
Make gun
nature.
owners have insurance liability, and things will change. The
Yeah.
insurance companies will police that shit immediately.
Yeah.
Your shit, if
So,
it's not inventoried and proven that you still fucking have it, and winds
yeah.
up in a goddamn crime, and your ass gets fucking fined $45,000 or whatever, the shit'll start to get fucking under wraps a little bit. I also
Mm-hmm.
think, we can, guys, we make up all the fucking rules. Every fucking thing about how society governs itself, we can make up, we can change, we can do whatever, right? So we can say, you're not allowed to manufacture this many goddamn guns every fucking year. You know what I mean? Like, you could limit how many are actually fucking made and limit what uses are allowed to fucking have them for. But hey, I mean, again, look, we don't need to get into this, right? We're not here to solve the world's problems, I guess. But I am saying, you fucking gun owners, guys, like, this is you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's stealing my gun and fucking killing people. So,
Yeah.
the fuck, right? Somebody else got to fucking figure this problem out here now. But anyway,
I agree. Let's
what
get
isn't
into
a
the
problem?
Dynamite last night.
It's talking
Yeah.
about wrestling, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into Dynamite last night. It was Valentine's Day, by the way. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tim, did you celebrate any Valentine's Day, either day of or day before or today or anything like that?
We had dinner reservations. They were also very close to where the incident happened. So I was like, we're just going to stay away tonight. We'll maybe go over there on the weekend or something. So, we picked up some food and watched some movies on the couch and stuff and just kind of, the day didn't feel right to go out and,
Yeah. Well, bold choice, even if no incident happened, because it was still like last year's, it was still craziness around like 7 o'clock at night. Not craziness as far
Yeah.
as like, just a ton of people.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it was a Valentine's Day episode of AEW Dynamite, and it kicked off with the ace of AEW, John Moxley, taking on one half of the best tag team in the world, some would say, Dax Harwood. And this was a good old grumpy men fighting in the middle of the ring, punchy punch face. What'd you think?
This did feel like a behind the bar fight. Yeah, man. Notwithstanding, I'm sure we're going to get to what happened after too, but man, so we're full FTR is heels here, I guess. I don't know. Dax felt like he was ready to fucking rip some shit up.
Yeah, so the match goes back and forth. We get all the fun things. Obviously, the former world champion, John Moxley, gets the victory over Dax Harwood, but he chokes him out to get the win by submission, but he ain't letting go. Doesn't let go, doesn't let go, doesn't let go. So then Dash comes out and he's like, motherfucker. And, he's hitting him, and hitting him. That then brings out Casanoli, and we got a good old, two teams that think they're tougher than the other one. See what happens. I don't know who's
Yeah.
heel because you think about it. The way this started was on Collision. Blackpool Combat Club beats the representation from CMLL, right? And then they say anyone who's tough enough that wants to step up, step up. So I'm paraphrasing. Well, then FTR says, what's up, motherfuckers? So again, it is probably a little bit heel, but it's also the thought of like, you think you're better than me? I'm going to show you you're not in my league. So I'm holding on to this forever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Something like that.
You know what I think we're going to ultimately get from this is I think this is just the next round of what's the next big, like, more hardcore battle that we're going to get, right? So when we had the Briscoes and the FTR, we did these like dog collar matches and all that. I think maybe this is sort of our next instance of something like that. This is going to be in a cage, or we're going to have collars, or it's going to be a street fight, or we're going to lead up to something that's going to be a bloody mess.
Yeah, because I believe if that is true, their first encounter is going to be next week. And I agree with you. Something will come of that to where this ain't done yet. Let's make it a, electrocution
I'm the fightingest,
match
burliest.
or something.
Yeah, exactly right. We're the ones that won't stay down. No, we're the ones that won't stay down. We're going to get a who's going to die match.
Exactly. Something like that. But
yes.
So we get that feud really kicked off and going. And like I said, next week we'll get that tag match. But then we go backstage. And in a bit of a weird news, I want your take on this. Renee Paquette standing with Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Don Callis. And Don Callis says, hey, I can't find anyone to fight Takeshita. And because he's so dominant, I don't think anyone will. So what I'm going to do is make him face another guy from the Don Callis family, Will Ospreay. Huh?
Weird. Shout out Jeffrey Sills in the chat, says he liked the previous match. Dax might be whiny on Twitter, but he can wrestle. Well, I mean, who isn't whiny on Twitter? But very, very good observation. Yeah, this threw me. Are they really going to wrestle? What are we doing here? Why? What is the purpose? Is this going to lead to somebody breaking off of the group again? This feels like I'm worried because I don't know what's coming, and it's in a way where I envision that what does come probably isn't going to be all that good. The match will be fine, right? Don't get me wrong. Like, they're fine competitors, but why? What?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come out and make a mockery of them or something, right? And spark something. That's what I think. Somebody's going to come out and be like, look at you dorks. They'll be like, dorks? We're the goddamn Don Callis family. Beat them up. And then there we go.
Yeah. I honestly, what my first thought was this is just to get Will Ospreay a match on the pay-per-view. We have no ideas. This would be easy to, again.
But can't he just accidentally bump into somebody in the parking lot? Like, this is what we're doing?
And, we kind of have the same view on pro wrestling that, dream matches aren't our thing necessarily without a story around it, right? And so I feel like the powers that be, Bryan Danielson, Christopher Daniels, Tony Khan, whoever it is, was like, this is going to knock the roof off the place. Takeshita and Will Ospreay. And if you say it, sure, but I'm not interested if it's just match, right? Hey, match. Okay. And
especially when it's heels. Like, when you're doing random exhibition to show how great these guys are, that works better when they're two faces, right? Like, this Don Callis family, is he going to be out there cheesing his dumb face around for both of these guys? How does that work, right? Or is it, we shouldn't have put Will Ospreay in the Don Callis family. Let's have them, this match turns into, now it's a real fight, and now we all jump Will Ospreay.
Yeah. I mean, I could easily see something like that happening. It's just, I didn't like really anything as far as the setup of this. Now, maybe Takesha's like, you don't call my shots, and then we get something like that as we get into the pay-per-view, because Takesha could be the one that, breaks off. But yeah, we shall see.
I got this. Jeffrey Sills just gave me an idea. He says, iron sharpens iron. So here's how this works. It is going to be somebody comes out and puts a stop to this, because they're going to go out and it's going to be an exhibition of the stars, the greatest AEW has to offer in the Don Callis family. And they're going to be so, like, faking it. They're going to be like, arm drag, and it's going to be so soft, and then Don Callis is going to be mic'd up the whole time, and it's going to be like, look at that amazing maneuver. What an excellent, like, you know what I mean? Like, just hyping up every bullshit thing they do, like a toe drag, right? And he's going to be like, we've never seen anything like this, right? And somebody's going to come out and be like, will you shut the fuck up? And then they're all going to fight. That's what I think's going to happen.
Could be. Yeah. My only thought from a storyline perspective is this is going to be like, look at the influence Don Callis has on these guys. They'll do anything he says. They'll fight each other. They'll fight you. They'll fight the, parking lot attendant, whatever it is. That's the only thing I could think of.
So they're fighting, and okay, so it's Takeshita, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's getting the better of Takeshita, right? I think that's where the pecking order lies, right? And Takeshita's laying over in the corner, and Don Callis is like, are you not vicious enough?
You're not the alpha.
Aren't you going to go fight back? Right? And he starts almost half abusing Takeshita, right? Until Takeshita gets over and he's like, yeah, that's right. Now what are you going to do about it, right? And he starts extra putting the boots until he's got to be like, whoa, stop. What are you doing to Will, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're too far, man, right? Maybe they play with his head a little, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, it is not too far. Yeah.
Yeah.
We shall
so then
see,
you
though,
said, like,
but...
Don Callis is sort of, you know what I mean, mind-fucking these guys.
Yeah. That's...
Fight Club style.
Could be. Fight Club style would be interesting to see if they could pull it off correctly, but time will tell. So yeah, a little odd, but we keep it moving. Wardlow wrestled. Next, we get... do we need to say anything? I don't care.
Then you had Adam Cole not even do commentary at the commentary team. What the fuck is going on with this? Anyway.
I don't. Yeah,
right? Wasn't he there? But the whole time he was just like, hit him or whatever. And then he was like, all right, we're out of here. Like, it was basically the gist of what he fucking... I don't know.
Yeah, from the notes I have, he says, nice to talk to you. And then he never said a word before that.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not.
They really are doing a great job of making this boring as fuck. Each week they find a way to make it less interesting.
The theory I've not theory, but the observation I should say that I'm starting to come up with for AEW is the writers, whatever it is, has an immaculate, very detailed act one that we fucking love, right? Hangman gets to the title and beats Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah, right? MJF.
Love that, yeah.
But like MJF finds out who the devil is. It's Adam Cole. Oh my God. All of these things. CM Punk beats MJF. Wardlow turns on MJF. Yeah. And then we don't have the next beat. We don't have that next thing ever, it feels like. And that's this case. No. I think the Devil Undisputed Kingdom thing, I think it's cool on paper. I think once they said, all right, we're going to do it at World's End, and everyone's like, awesome. And they did it. And they're like, all right, let's celebrate. Hey, we're celebrating. Hey, what are we doing next week? What? Hey, man, I got the Samoa Joe and Hook. Have you heard about them? And you're like, oh, that's fun. And now we just go back to that. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely, if that's the plan, then yeah, I think they should find better ways to make a story end instead of like, new faction. Well, okay, then you should have a plan for that faction, right? If it was just Adam Cole screwed over MJF, then fine. Now, we don't see Adam Cole or MJF for a while, right? Adam Cole comes back before MJF probably, if MJF comes back, hope. He will. Then MJF's new mission is fuck Adam Cole, right? And we continue this friendship gone awry thing that never was, right?
Yeah.
Which is still the play, but like this Undisputed Kingdom is just a big wet fart of nothing now.
Yeah, the only thing maybe that would make sense is peeking behind the curtain is, back at the Arthur Ashe match that Samoa Joe had with MJF and Adam Cole injured himself. We had this plan for World's End, but then Adam Cole injured himself, and then we're like, fuck. We're going to need something. A hobbled man can't take out MJF, right? Like that would be dumb. So then, well, what if we just did these things? Because if you pay attention, maybe if my mind is stupid or not, but I believe the Wardlow's going after MJF thing and all that stuff happened after Adam Cole got hurt. So this could all be a pivot, and they'd never had the idea to do this Undisputed Kingdom. They had to do it out of necessity because Adam Cole got hurt.
Just buying time. So Adam Cole got hurt, and then the MJF was like, I need a fucking break or whatever, or like it's built into his contract or whatever, and he's like, I got this month to this month off, and they're like, okay, fuck. So we got to stall, maybe, and we'll see.
Yeah, and he has to take the time off because the bidding war of 2024 needs to add the intrigue for when he comes back, right? He can't just be here in February like, what? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, we ain't talking about that, Anyhow, we'll get back to it. TNT Championship Eliminator match, Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia. And this was fun. I like,
Adam Copeland. Adam Cole. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't wrestle.
No, I'm sorry, Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam Copeland versus Daniel Garcia. This was fun. I liked the dancing from Daniel Garcia. I liked how Adam then kind of mocked him and did his own old man style of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match. What'd you think?
It was a good match. I just feel like we've already done this. Like, we've already built Daniel Garcia as like the guy who can go. And so I don't feel like we need the like veteran rub for Daniel Garcia anymore. Right. Now if it's keeping it going, I guess that's one thing, but I just didn't feel a whole lot of like, oh my God, it's crazy that he's going toe to toe with Edge, right? Or Adam Copeland, as we call him.
Well, and what's interesting about this match is we don't actually get a finish because the Patriarch comes in and they beat the shit out of both guys. So one of the rare DQ finishes in AEW. But here's my theory. Go ahead, you go first.
Well,
you go first.
So I was sitting there thinking, what's up with Matt Menard now, right? I was like, he's always on commentary for Garcia, but he's not helping him when he's getting his ass kicked here. But then he finally did step in to help him, only to get his own ass kicked. So maybe that's why. Maybe he doesn't step in to help him. But, yeah, the patriarchy, before you get into your theory here, the one thing I took away from this is, now that they're doing this and they are the patriarchy and they're coming out and they're beating people up, we need to name things like the tough love and like the moves that we do, right? Like, let's really get into like this abusive fatherly stuff, right? Like, let's really name things. And yes. He needs to be pulling up with them in like a fucking minivan too. I know Sue does the minivan or something, but like he's got to do something, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's got to have the family with him, everything. Yeah. Right. Everything. Let's catch them out at dinner, right? And he's telling them, like, finish what's on your plate. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, just really everything fatherly. We need that.
Yeah, I like
all
that.
Of it.
You know, I don't want him to necessarily join a faction, but what if Garcia joins Christian and it's like, hey, and then we put everything against
kid.
Yeah. Well, because, before all of this Christian stuff, Matt Menard and Cool Hand Ange would say, that's our son, Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia's like, I got a new dad, and it's Christian.
No, here's what it is. Christian starts announcing, like, next week that Mama Wayne is now gonna bring a new child, right? Like a new child to the family. Like, she has blessed us with a new child or whatever, right? And then he keeps talking about that over the next couple of days, and then we see them come out and start interfering in a Daniel Garcia match, and then they beat up the people or whatever, and Daniel Garcia comes out and he hugs, and it's his new kid, right? But he always has to like announce this quote unquote fake pregnancy first, right? Like she's expecting a new, you know what I mean? A new child, my new son, right? Yeah. Yes.
Or it could be Matt Menard. It could be Matt Menard who joins, and then that way you could do Daniel Garcia, Nick Wayne, kind of the B feud of this. Or Daniel Garcia kill switch, Luchasaurus, and then you still have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Now, here's the only thing I did not like. So after the match, all this shenanigans stuff, Adam Copeland, he's got the upper hand. He's about to take out Christian Cage. And then, what's her name? Mama Wayne or whatever, does the low blow. And I kind of said this about Rhea Ripley, but if you're not going to do men versus women, which say whatever, I just don't personally like it. I don't, and it's not like, I don't like women. It's just, it doesn't look good anyhow. So if you're not going to do that, which Tony Khan has been on the record of saying, I don't like intergender matches. Okay.
Right.
Then you can't have the woman, in my opinion, any woman getting involved physically because there's no payoff. Because then she'd be like, what are you going to do? Hit me. It's like, I mean, I wish, but like, unless. I
mean, I guess to some extent in this thing, I don't mind it because it's Christian guiding her to do it, right? So the payoff is they finally beat the shit out of Christian.
No, because she's not a wrestler. I was going to say, what if we get Beth Phoenix to show up in AEW and she's like, what's up? Now, we've already done that in WWE.
Yeah, we might let her take a bump, right?
Yeah, boom. The thing I also liked about this is, did you notice that Christian Cage made out with his Valentine after all of this?
Oh, no. With the belt,
TNT
right?
change.
Yeah, right. Yes.
That's a true Valentine.
I love that they were like, he's making out with the belt. They were like so disgusted.
Yeah. And then,
which, by the way, Man, I hope he had some mouthwash afterwards. I'm sure that thing is filthy. Fucking
or
filthy.
cleaned it beforehand. Yeah, something. We got the concerto, but honestly, with this feud, it's starting to feel hollow because like Nick Wayne got it and he was back, and now Edge just got it. He's back. I think even Luchasaurus got it. So it's like, all right, is this just like the chair shot to the back now? Because you guys are doing this a little bit too much, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Anyhow, let's keep it moving. We get a little promo segment. Samoa Joe, Hangman Page, and Swerve Strickland. And Samoa Joe's out first, and he's like, you know what, you motherfuckers, I'm the man. Swerve Strickland comes out, and he goes, oh, you think you're the man? No, I'm the man. And then Hangman comes out and was like, hey, I'm not angry. I am not. What did he say? He's like, they're writing that I was upset. I was not upset. What did he say? Did I write it down here?
I was not upset. Yeah, he said they said I was angry or I was not or upset or something. Yeah, he's like I was not upset. Yeah, I can't remember what he said there. It reminded me of back to the Super Bowl when Travis Kelce was screaming at Andy Reid. They paid lip readers to find out what he was saying, and he said, "Put me back in the game, you fucker. I'm calm now." It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, sounds like it. That's kind of what that felt like. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this didn't really have too much, meat on the bone, as they could say. But essentially, all three of them were like, "Well, I'll win," and then Joe's like, "I'm beating both of your asses ASAP."
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anybody said anything groundbreaking. They all stood, 10 toes down, if you will, right? Stood on business, whatever the kids say these days. What did stick out to me the most was fucking Swerve has the world eating out of the palm of his hand right now with these crowds, man. It is all Swerve all day.
Yeah, it is. It is a Swerve's world, and we are just living in it right now.
Whose house?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This house.
Yeah.
Then do you think this was real? So after this, we get Timeless Tony Storm's Wet Ink world premiere.
Oh, yeah.
And she's
the
like,
tattoo.
Hey, and she puts like a knife through it. You think that was real? If so, way to commit.
If so, way to commit. I want to say no, because if you notice, it didn't actually touch the original artwork. There is sort of like a divider, right? So that makes me think possibly not. But maybe.
But she's going to have to wrestle.
Maybe, why not?
She's going to have to wrestle.
Because she also, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but then you could be like, I got it removed, right? I had it, you know what I mean? Like laser removed or whatever, yeah.
Or this would be some long-term storytelling, which I'm all about. But think about this. And let's just fast forward, right? So say it's real, right? The knife through the thing. Tony Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, they wrestle. They have their feud. They separate. They go their separate ways. Tony Storm loses the belt to Britt Baker, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Deonna Purrazzo's beating Chris Statlander, right?
Thunder Rosa. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then they join factions together. They come together as like a team, and then Deonna Purrazzo then puts the knife through to be like, yeah, like we're both in this together.
We're the stabbing sisters.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. That would be kind of cool. That would be like, hey, remember? Because then we'd all have to be like, oh shit, that's right. In 2024, it could be cool.
Instead of knives, they could have made it scissors, and they could have been the scissor sisters. All right, never mind. We'll just move on.
I tell you what, man, you want to talk about a team that's fallen off super quick, at least in my eyes. The Acclaimed, they went from the coolest guys in the room to fucking hanging out with these nerds.
It, wasn't I? I said quicker than you were going to want to fucking realize the scissoring thing's going to fall flat. It's like, because they're not doing anything new with it.
I don't even know if it's the scissoring thing. It's the, what are you doing? Like, does anyone care about Jay White and this Bullet Club
So there's
thing?
that, yeah. It might not have fallen off as flat if they were in meaningful things, right? They're not battling for any fucking title. Like, again, I think these trios things were a flop. I know everybody loves fucking Japanese wrestling, and they love their Lucha Libre in Mexico, and those places have, like, trios titles, and they work very well, and they're a very big deal. But I've never seen them be very big anywhere in the mainstream popularity. And I don't necessarily always mean to say wrestling has to be mainstream, but, like, they don't really get over other than small venues or foreign areas, right? Other countries. So, like, I just don't think they work well here. But part of that, again, is because it is about the storyline. You're not giving people reasons to care about. if the title is just on some wrestlers and the wrestlers are having a great in-ring match, right? That's fine. But you guys are fans of the have a 5-star match every match out here, so you're getting great matches anyway. So the title is inconsequential and it falls back in their minds and they don't give a shit because there's no story behind who has the title or not. Right? That's where
I agree.
Again, if people were trying to bring down the Acclaimed or to stop the Acclaimed from doing the things they were doing, we would care more.
Yeah, and eventually I think we can see a Bullet Club turns on Acclaim, but fucking who cares?
Who cares at this point? Yeah.
And they're gonna do a 12-man or whatever it is tag match.
I still want. We need.
Lame.
I still need something with the Ass Boys. We need to call them the Ass Boys, and we need Daddy Ass trying to whip them into shape or something, and just get the Acclaimed off doing their own thing, and the guns away from the Jay White group, and let's just go.
Yeah,
let's do the Ass Boys thing. Bring Danhausen back.
Yeah, for sure. That's 100% for sure. Yeah, there's some key AEW people that I need back in the TV show ASAP. Danhausen, Britt Baker, MJF. That'll help the show out, I think. But one of the mainstays, the Young Bucks, they have a match with Top Flight. Now, this was kind of cool. They come in a limo. They're still wearing the same suits that they took out Darby and Sting with. Now, apparently, they're making fun of Sting's, what is this called? A soul patch or whatever? Because now they just have the soul patch. Okay.
Call it the trumpeter.
Yeah, but that's fine. And they're wrestling Top Flight here. And the only thing, honestly, Tim, the thing I came away with on all of this is let's never listen to Chris Jericho because Action Andretti is the fucking cringiest wrestler right now.
Dude.
Oh, it's so. Worst.
Oh my god, it's so bad. All of his
whatever this water thing is, it's not. Oh my god,
cool. Please stop. Yeah, again. He thinks it's fun and that people think it's funny, and I don't know anybody. Do you see anybody in the crowd doing this?
Well, no, but I think he's pushing it too hard. So credit to him for trying something. I'm not going to be like, don't try anything, you fucking nerd, right? Try it, cool. But when you're like, hey, everyone, no one does that. You know what I mean? If he were to be like, I'll get this match with, let's just say it's Jay White, right? I want this main event match with Jay White. And he's like, if I beat you in this water chugging competition, I get the match with Jay White. And they're like, fine. And then boom. And they're like, dude, yeah. And then, sometime, and he's like, hey, I'm not, the Young Bucks try to find him. He's like, if I can chug this in under 3 seconds, I don't get fined $1,000. Young Bucks say, sure. If it's being put on him to do it,
right.
Fucking cool. But when you do what they did last night where Top Flight walks out with this fucking nerd and the nerd goes, separate guys, water time, and then walks back, that's fucking dumb. Yeah, he didn't even use it as a distraction if you want.
It's water even.
And you're drinking it. We all drink water. This is water.
Yeah. I got some water in here. Only.
Yeah, Super Bowl 58, motherfuckers. So anyhow, and this is another, and I've said this before, but I'm going to keep saying it because it just grinds my gears. But if we're going to say that the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world and best tag team ever, and they proclaim themselves number one contenders, which I don't know if that's how the rankings work or not, or if that's just a healed thing they're doing.
I loved it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I mean, it could just be that's how it works. I don't know. But, earlier in the night, we had Wardlow just run through somebody, but we didn't know who that somebody was. You can't have the Young Bucks struggling. That's what I don't like about these 5 stars. So to go back to that Takeshita Will Ospreay match, everyone was like, dude, this is going to be so fucking cool. It's going to be 5 stars. And I just want to be like, so it's just going to be back and forth until the finish? Just call me when the finish starts. And that's what I'll do because none of it matters. Yeah.
What is this, March Madness?
Yeah, wake me up when the first round starts, and then I'll go back to bed.
Tell me, get me after the fucking 4-minute break in the second quarter, and in the second half, we're going. Yeah.
But do you get what I'm saying? I know none of it's gonna matter in the first 3 to 5 minutes. So why the
Mm-hmm.
fuck am I watching?
Yeah. What I took away is a couple things. One, man, those suits they're wearing are gonna get real stinky if they really ain't washing them things. And two, like, hope you guys got a lot of Lysol. But two, um, this role that they're doing with the EVP thing, I think they may not want to hear this, be a perfect opportunity to get away from the name Young Bucks because you're not young anymore, and you could use this power trip to become something else, right?
Well,
Like
they're
you could
saying
become
that
the
they're
Elite Bucks or the, you know what I mean, or whatever.
well, yeah, because I think they're starting to just call themselves Matthew and Nicholas. Like we're Matthew and
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas. I don't mind. I don't hate that, right? Matthew and Nicholas. Call us
Yeah.
by our passport names.
Yeah.
I like the gimmick so far. Again, it still hasn't made a lot of sense on why you're going after Sting.
Yeah, I just still, you're the Young Bucks, right? And I know, like, Lil Wayne is still Lil Wayne, but, like, you're the Young Bucks and you were taking on Top Flight, who's, like, 20 years younger than you and are the Young Bucks in this situation. You know what I mean? So, like, it just felt weird to me. I really think they ought to come up with something new. And this is a great gimmick for them to do it. So I would urge them to do it.
Oh, good point out here. Jeffrey Sills says, "Did you notice no super kicks?" I did not.
No super kicks. But I did notice that they're calling it the EVP trigger now, which is a nice touch.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is a nice touch. Yeah,
And fucking Tony, you motherfuckers.
I know. Never touch Tony Schiavone. Never touch Tony Schiavone. Assholes.
We need to
but
get.
they do.
Remember when JR turned evil and had a crew? Like, we need to get Tony Schiavone's like, I've had enough of this.
Well, he tried. It was really bad.
bad.
He tried in TNA, and it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah.
Well,
It's like,
isn't
brother,
everything?
you're so nice. But it was just like you're too nice. Just stop. You know?
Oh, yeah. No, you would almost have to, like, you have to very limit the lines, right? He's got one or two things, and he's in the dark, and he's hiding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And almost he's revealed later, right? Like, I would limit the amount him, but yeah.
Make him the devil. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, let's get to that.
That would have been amazing because he always would shit on MJF forever, like before he started becoming the good guy, right? Like he used to be like, he's fucking despicable human being. I can't, like, he used to really lean into it, the kind of the way he does Christian now. That would have been great if Tony Schiavone would have been the devil. We would have all been like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So let's get back. So let's get to
They should have made it an
magic,
anonymous GM. All right, anyway.
Easy. So they get back to it. Tony Schiavone interviews him in the ring. They take offense to the comments that he's made, so they fine him $1,000, which is good. But then they shove him, and again, you're pushing your power, so I like it. And I don't want to be too
help
critical.
him up.
Yeah, this is what I never understood about the fucking move. Just move. They're just holding your hands. You can't.
Yeah, why didn't you like take your hands back and scurry out of there? You realized what they were doing at some point. He even was like, don't do it.
Yeah. Even in a match, it's dumb. Like, hey, oh, you got my arms? I'll stand up. I'm not.
I'll lean right into this.
I don't know. It's kind of a silly move, but so is the people's elbow. So I'm just being a little critical. But anyhow, before they get to do the EVP trigger, Darby Allin's music hits. He comes out and he cuts a promo. Kind of puts the whole crowd in a weird situation because he said when this whole thing started, it was all about the Young Bucks and their friends. And it wasn't until someone as an EVP signed him, and it wasn't the Elite. It was Cody Rhodes. And some people are like, Cody, I guess, no. And whatever. But then they're like, how? And then he says, like, how the fuck did Brandon Cutler get on the first episode, but not me, and all that stuff. And then he says, we will defend our titles at Revolution. And we kind of knew that the entire time.
Yeah. Hey, spoiler alert. I have more fun watching Brandon Cutler than Darby Allin sometimes, but whatever.
No. There's some people
sometimes.
I can see
sometimes.
No. Darby Allin's great. I like Darby Allin a lot. You don't like Darby Allin?
I mean, he's fine. He's fine.
I mean, it's not my thing, but like, he's gonna try to kill himself, and that's fun right there. That's the thing. If you're gonna do a back and forth match, I have to be on the edge of my seat where I'm like, is Darby going to like break his spine on the top turnbuckle?
Well, to kind of further the talk you were talking about, his finishing move bothers me a lot. Like you're the lightest dude in the world. You can't do a drop as a finisher.
Yeah. That
For
I
fuck's sake, are we doing? Who allowed that? Who said dog? Dog. I got shoes way more than you, man. The fuck are you talking about? You're just gonna drop?
Yeah, you bruised my rib, I think, you dickhead. Yeah.
Big Show takes shits bigger than you. Not guy.
Yeah, because if it's Keith Lee that does the coffin drop, well, that fucking sucks, right? Like I don't want to do that. But yeah, 165 pounds, sure, that's not gonna take me out at all. I'll do it real time. Like I'm saying, like,
can I roll over and you get my back? Maybe it'll crack.
yeah. Hey, I can't get my
thanks,
hip.
man.
Can you just, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah,
thanks, man.
It's silly move, but he is a fun wrestler. I do like him. You know what his finisher should be? Well, you know what his finisher should be is that damn
skateboard to the face.
Well, yeah, but when he does that fucking dive to the outside, I mean, he runs and he does not consider the other person or himself. Like, you know that, what do they call it? It's Tope Suicina or whatever. When he runs and just motherfucker, and it's like, that hurts everyone. That could be his finisher, or that should be his finisher, but I don't know. Anyhow, let's move on. Hey, here they are. Renee Paquette's backstage, interviews the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. And they said they had like a clubhouse or something. And
they probably do. Yeah.
And they show off their merchandise. Again, I think some of this is creating the Pavlov's dog's response or whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like, we're going to do this. Like, so you do this, right? Yeah. I think it's a little like, hey, get us set up for that. But this was it. It happened. Then we get everyone's favorite. If you don't get a smile when she comes out, you are just a heartless prick. But we had Willow Nightingale with Stokely Hathaway. Is there a better?
No. Okay, sorry. You said Willow, so I thought you wanted to... Sorry. I'm sorry.
Willow Nightingale and
Willow Nightingale.
Stokely Hathaway. I don't know if there's a better team in the history of wrestling to have some shit talking, grumpy ass hater, president of the Haters Club Anonymous, and then the world's nicest human. Yeah, there you can play that one. I like that one. Yeah. I mean, is there a better pairing? It's just great. And then you got Chris Statlander, and I get how he likes or he's wanting to manage Chris Statlander. I get that that's the story. But man, Statlander ain't it. Willow is. Because they both have the same wrestling ability, and Willow's just more like, well, I'm not saying Chris Statlander is bad. I like Chris Statlander. I think she needs to go back to the Best Friends. I think having her
I agree.
As when she was doing the alien stuff, it made it such a unique pairing with like a guy who doesn't give a shit and two guys who kind of flirt with like the idea of if they make masculine zany, men.
Right? Yeah.
Well, they make masculine men feel like you don't hug, that kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Like, right.
That group I thought was just perfect. Now that she's like, I don't know, just in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, she kind of made them feel like whatever the group was called, the Scooby-Doo gang, right? Like, that's what they kind of felt like when that was a thing. And then they would have the mom come in once in a while. It felt like that, right? It felt like this kind of zany group. It was like, why are you guys together? And it's probably marijuana, but like, but that's, I mean, it was cool. It's fun.
And she could have still done all her fun stuff, like with the squats when she was squatting. I think it was Renee Paquette. And like, she could still
almost like she didn't even realize how strong she is, right? Yeah. Like she's just back there lifting stuff, and they're like, Jesus Christ, man. And Orange Cassidy's just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Just,
I don't know.
That's what she does.
That's what she does. Yeah. When she's by herself, I don't know. But anyhow, let's get back to this. Willow Nightingale takes on, I guess, Sky Blue. Sky Blue, God bless you.
We're still doing that?
Well, I can't have you. I can. Let me clarify. But I will say, I don't enjoy. Let me say it better. I don't enjoy Sky Blue to be the dark, mysterious. Now I got pigtails. Okay, hey, look, cool. Where you miss me though is when you're doing the like Stacy Keebler foot to the throat in the corner, and then she like puts her hand on the middle turnbuckle and she like does a kiss. You're spooky or you're a snob, but you can't be
So
all of these things. It's weird.
I know a lot of people, and I'm going to talk about fans, right? People in general, there is a large chunk of people who like the spooky things, right? They like their horror movies, they like
Yeah.
that imagery, right? Like, and that's fine, and that's cool. And so they like we said, scary movies and those kind of characters, right? And they like spooky. Okay, but if we're gonna make some of these characters spooky, again, this goes back to the storyline thing. I'm gonna need them to do some spooky stuff. I need somebody in peril, and I think they're going to be dead, or their souls consumed, or sacrificed to a devil, or who knows what else, because they fucking disappeared into the void, right? I need some spooky stuff to happen.
And if you don't even want to go that far, because maybe you're like, hey, what the fuck are we doing? Being like Undertaker? Okay, cool. But then I would say watch tape of Raven. Raven never did. Yay! He was.
Yeah, you can be mysterious,
yeah,
right? Without supernatural.
Well, and again, but like, if you don't want to do, because Lights Out is just a wrestling, everyone does it. Like that's just accepted pro wrestling lore now. No one, is spooky if they put the lights out. But what I'm getting at is like, you commit, right? Because Sky Blue, which came on, she was, in Chuck Taylor, she winks and she still does the wink, which again, whatever, I guess we're still trying to separate you. Like your origin is still there. And I guess we can kind of make that story up, but you can't be doing the, hey, look at this and blowing kisses at the camera. Like, again, go watch. And I'm not saying he's the best ever, but man, he's fucking great at it. I never thought Raven was going to break character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even when he legitimately got strangled on Nitro by a fan, he still kept character. Like,
yeah.
I need
so
that
your
kind
point,
of
if we take the word spooky and make it dark and mysterious, then I need you to continue to be dark and mysterious. Yeah. Rarely smiling, right? Like rarely waving to the fucking crowd.
Or like blowing kisses sinister. To the camera.
I need something. Yes. I need something dark, right? Otherwise, it's just a fashion statement.
Yeah. You're just Hot Topic. Who gives a shit? Jeffrey Sills, by the way, really. I agree with him here. Chris Statler is really, really good. I do like the present. I just wish the alien thing is what got me to fall like into this character. And now she's just, because I even like the sign language thing. I think that's a really interesting thing when she was champion and she was coming in because it made her separate from everyone else. But the alien thing, in my opinion, made her even more separate than everyone else because she actually wasn't an alien. You know what I mean? Like we all knew Statlander wasn't an alien, just like we know that Luchasaurus isn't a dinosaur. But you know what I'm saying? And so, well, what I'm saying is like they don't portray her as an alien. Like they just portray her as a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Luchasaurus. Like he never fucking got a T-Rex to come out with him. You know what I'm saying? I just liked her because now again, she's just kind of Hot Topic as well. You know what I mean? Just, okay, you got some tattoos and some cool gear and you're doing the Zoolander thing, which why?
Yeah. Again, if we're not going to do that, then lean into that. She's an impressive athlete. Like when you see her in the ring compared to other people, you're like, that is a damn, like she's built. She is like, you know what I mean? Like she is sizable. Like she, you know what I mean? Like go lean into that or something, but give us something. I feel like she's just stalling with no real purpose or intent. I know she's wrapped up into this, Stokely thing kind of in ways, but like it just.
Maybe that's what I'm asking for is lean into something, right? Lean into the alien, lean into your strength, because you're just kind of bland. You're like tofu. Tofu takes the flavor of whatever else it's cooked with. But tofu by itself is nothing. So add something to yourself. You know what I mean? Who did that? Right. MJF did that. MJF said that about Jay White. Tofu. Yeah. Tofu. I was like, why does that sound familiar? Yeah. I didn't even know that. And
Oh,
then
I
yes,
thought you said
Stokely
that
said,
because of that. I
no,
thought you pulled that
I
out for
was
that reason.
thinking of tofu. I was watching Beat
Stuck
Bobby
with you.
Flay before.
That's a reference you're going to use for the rest of your life now.
Well, no. Honestly, real talk. We were watching Beat Bobby Flay, and the secret ingredient for the two chefs was tofu, and so that's why it was in my brain. But anyhow, but yes, Jeffrey still says Stokely said Chris Statlander is thicker than a Snickers, and that's just I can't. How is he not on commentary? If you want, here's a thought. I'm gonna bounce this off you. What do you think? Ooh. Let me bounce this off you. Tony Schiavone is doing both shows, Dynamite, Collision, Dynamite, right? And you're wanting to separate the voices. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Nigel McGuinness on Collision, you got Taz on Dynamite. What if you took whatever one you want, Dynamite or Collision, and take Tony Schiavone off and you put Stokely Hathaway in? You don't think that guy couldn't come up with 15 one-liners a show? I bet you he could. You know what I mean? And so, because if you're not going to do anything real with him,
he could.
Yeah, he could be a more appropriate, for the times, Jerry the King Lawler, right? I'm not saying he should say puppies and all that shit, but he could be the guy that gets under, because Nigel McGuinness, credit to Adam Copeland for always talking shit on Nigel McGuinness. He's like, Nigel, shut up. And he's like, I wasn't even talking. I know you were, just Nigel's great. I love Nigel. So maybe put, if you were to Nigel's do that, great. Yeah, put Stokely on, I'm just talking this out, workshopping it. Put him on Dynamite, because if anyone steps to Stokely Hathaway, Taz big brothers him and will stand in between whoever that is and Stokely and like, no, man, we ain't doing this. And he's like, Stokely's like, yeah, motherfucker, what's up?
Or if we made one of these shows like Rampage, an all women's show, put him as the heel commentator on there, and
that's a great call.
Money.
Yeah, I forgot about Rampage, to be honest. Yeah, put him on there instead of Jericho or Matt. No offense, Matt Menard, I do think is doing well, but instead of Matt Menard or Jericho. Anyhow, now we get to
the worst crime you can commit is dick riding without a license.
If he were to say that right before the main event of Christian versus Adam Copeland, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's right there for us. It's right there for us. All right. Well, we get to the main event. It's a Valentine's Day Texas death match, which kind of like the V trigger or, what were we talking about earlier? Oh, the concerto.
The EVP.
Similar to the
the concerto.
Similar to the concerto. If you just start doing Texas death matches, kind of loses its luster, because you have this collection of matches where it's Hangman versus Lance Archer, Hangman and John Moxley, Hangman. I'm saying Hangman a lot, but Hangman and Swerve Strickland.
It's his match.
And now, no offense, but then it's Orange Cassidy and Matt Taven. Well,
so did you ever give me the explanation on what makes it Texas? What is the difference between death match and Texas death match?
Well, for this one specifically, they were in Texas. This is kind of like a street fight.
Death match in Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's how you could actually say it. It's the Valentine's death match in Texas.
In Texas. What did Samoa Joe say? And he was like, just like Texas, they did everything bigger and dumber. I forget how he said that, right? Yeah.
Texas does feel like a cult, I will say that. But
I think he was like they made a dumb decision or whatever, and it didn't work out. And he's like, so just like Texas, they did everything bigger and dumber. So they added him in as a third person or something like that.
Yeah.
Good way to keep the crowd, turned on him. I was like, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a Texas death match. Again, I don't know why. Why do they call it Fatal 4-Way when no one actually dies? One of those pro wrestling things. And I will say, Matt Taven, given the opportunity, tried his hardest. This was a very good, hey, I can do these I can be put in these spots and deliver. It felt like it was it felt like it was Matt Taven versus the tables. This motherfucker either went through it, couldn't go through it. I mean, it was like Orange Cassidy was just there, and it was Matt Taven's beef with these tables. That was where I came off with this. But what'd you think of the main event?
The same kind of thing. I mean, I was like, all right, I mean, look, a death match is rarely like terrible, right? Like, I feel like your floor is a C, right? As long as you don't like just shit the bed in what you're doing there. So it was fine. Same thing. Coming away, I was like, why? What? First of all, was this like, why is this match here as a Texas death match? Like, yeah. I was a little confused as to why. Right?
Exactly,
Why?
me too. And I get it that Orange Cassidy's feuding with the Undisputed Kingdom, but he's feuding with Roderick Strong, not Matt Taven.
Right.
So I don't know why. Anyhow,
Right.
but I liked what happened at the end. Let's talk about the end. So Orange Cassidy gets the victory. Then here comes they already had the Matt Taven's tag team partner. Can't think of his name. What's the guy's name?
Bennett.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett, yeah. Mike Bennett had already came out there, which then brought out Trent, right? So the numbers are even. But then here comes Roderick Strong. This is what I liked. Orange Cassidy's in the corner. Roderick Strong's about to do this fucking big knee, and Trent takes the bullet and fucking moves him. Feels like we're still doing something in the background with Trent and Orange Cassidy. What'd you think of that?
I think so. Yeah, that one piqued me too because we've seen Trent be annoyed a bunch with Orange Cassidy, right? And so, like, is this going to materialize later? Like, I had to save you. You know what I mean? Like, or is there going to be, I think what we might get is Trent's going to be in a similar situation. Orange Cassidy's in position where he could do the same thing in return, but he's a little too like, you know what I mean? Like, shit. I didn't notice, you know? And he's going to be like, you never fucking notice.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose it.
Yeah. But I thought you had it. I mean, you're Trent. So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And then just walks off.
You want these cheese fries or not? You know? And then fuck your cheese fries.
All right. So that was your AEW Dynamite. Good show. I don't think it really moved the needle with any storylines. And, you know, Tony Khan, to his credit, and I do believe like some of these shows recently have been very, very, very good. I would advise, if I had his ear, to tell him, don't go away from the stories. I understand we don't want to start every show with a 30-minute promo. No one does, right? That kills the crowd, all of that stuff.
Right.
However, as great as the Continental Classic was, Tim, I can recall us coming on this podcast and going, so Roosh lost to Jay White and they have a really good match. And like, there's nothing to like get you going. And so
I've noticed we've started like 2 weeks in a row now with 30-minute bangers, and like that's cool. But like, and with, I need a reason for these.
The John Moxley, Dax Harwood had a genesis of why it happened, right? But I guess what I'm saying is like, I like wrestling. Obviously, wrestling matches are dope. I like wrestling matches though because of the story. I don't just like arm drag, body slam. I don't fucking care. And so
we're
if you're
asking
just
for
saying,
a little less wrestling in our wrestling, right? That's what we're saying. Just a little less wrestling in our wrestling.
I want a little, yes, exactly. I want a little bit more, you know, feuds. I want feuds. I want love stories again. You know, we talked about Ruby Soho turned on Saraya on Rampage. We didn't talk about this, but they had a tag match, and Ruby Soho, as she was walking out, had something in her pocket. She looks down, puts it back in her pocket, and then Saraya, because it was against Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, and as Saraya, who's like trying to get the hot tag, she goes, and and then Ruby Soho just jumps down. It's like, nope. And then is it Haley or Harley, whatever her name is? She tries to stop Ruby. Ruby gives her a good old "How's your mother?" And that faction is now done. But that's a good love story, right? We had Cool Hand Ange, we had Saraya not liking it, we had Ruby Soho stuck in the middle. That should have been on Rampage.
This was all stuff that was going outside of the matches in the ring. You know what I mean? That's what we're saying. I know people we'll confuse the term story with, like set of matches and promos. Dialogue and a reason or two isn't what we mean by stories here, right? Like, again, if you study storytelling, whether it be like screenwriting or novel writing or whatever, like there's tenets and there's principles and there's practice put in place that are like repeatable and because they work, right? And we just need a little more of that here with some of these, right? We need we need character work and we need the characters interacting with things because they have their own goals and purposes, right? And now how those interact is where we get the clash in the stories.
Yeah, and again, pro wrestling's big enough. This is gonna be my motto for the year. Pro wrestling's big enough to where you can like something, I can like something. I will reject the notion though. I will reject the notion though that if you tell me, well, the story is you see how Roger Strong's working over Orange Cassidy's arm. Nope. That is that's a story for the match,
right? Yeah.
But that is not the fucking story, brother. Or sister. And so that's what I mean is you can't tell me that because it's by itself, it's fine, right? It's cool, but you need a story to get to the reason why, in this example, Roderick Strong is working over Orange Cassidy's arm. I can't just take,
And there's no better way than to leave you with this, as Jeffrey Sill says. The only outcast I acknowledge is 3 Stacks and Big Boy.